Welcome to the High Fae Housewives podcast. I'm a bitch, I'm a lover, I'm a child, I'm a mother.
I'm a
Sounds like
sinner, I'm a saint. And I'm Kylie.
We are currently working towards our Masters in the Maasverse. Our current course is on Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath by Sarah Janet Maas. Today we're chatting chaps 57 through 64.
Warning, while we may be your silly gal pals, we don't recommend listening to this podcast around little ears or ears that may be offended because we say bad words and shitty things.
Sure do.
So I have another fuck, marry, kill for you.
Okay.
I was going to give you hotties of Crescent City, but then I really thought about it, and that's just too fun. So you get the second tier hotties of Crescent City.
So the B squad? Okay, go ahead.
So you fuck, marry, kill Therian, Baxian, Cormac. I haven't even thought about my answer. Shit.
Okay, I am marrying Therian, fucking Vaxie, and I'm killing Cormac.
Okay, we are not the same. I am marrying Cormac, I'm fucking Baxian, and I'm killing Therian because I just don't understand mermaid wieners.
Yeah, the mermaid wieners is kind of what was getting me there. But hey, if I would have fucked him, then we'd get our answer and how it works.
Thank you for taking one for the team.
I am a woman in STEM, so I was doing it for the science.
On that note, relax those shoulders, unclench those jaws, clench that clam, and let's get into it. Chapter 57. This is a really short one, not much to theorize on, guys. No one is exactly thrilled at their new formal titles. Hunt comforts Bryce by petting her hair while she cried. Starborn she could handle. Being a princess, she cannot. It's okay, though. Bryce has a plan, and he will not like it, naturally. Rune is back at that mental bridge with Day. He tries to play it cool, but she knows he is not impressed with her shitty attitude last time. Day apologizes, though. Then they start talking about what makes a good leader and who to replace the Asteri with. Day is taken aback because she's not used to friends. Rune is like, I can tell, you suck at it. They flirt a little, and then Day tells Rune she's coming on autumn equinox, not like that, but coming to Valvara because she has to attend the Archangel Ball. They plan to meet up, but there is a little hesitation. But overall, Rune wants to smell her scent. Direct quote. The sexual tension is clearly heating up.
I just can't even imagine, like, bitch, I can't wait to smell you.
What a comment. Like, I know it's not weird for Faye, but like, it's a neck nuzzling, like, equivalent for me. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
He's making it weird.
He's making it weird. Chapter 58. It was time for the ball, and damn, being a princess sure has a fuck ton of rules. But Bryce and Hunt looked all fancy pants in their outfits, and they were ready to fuck shit up. Rune went as Hypaxia's date, but he truly couldn't stop thinking about meeting Day. Sniffer.
So Hunt talks about the Thotham King sending a van instead, and I just picture them rolling up in a minivan with like blacked out windows, like all the bells and whistles, either that or a bread box van.
Yeah, I don't know why I picture like an old Dodge Caravan, like older than mine. And I don't know, now I'm also picturing Vicky being like, you sent a family van?
It was probably a family van.
It was probably a family van. So speaking of fucking shit up, after Bryce snubbed her father and the other royals, she went up to the archangels to wish them congratulations, and as Celestina returned the sentiment, Bryce dropped a bomb, an Umbra Mortis Prince bomb, and good old Thotham had to go along with it.
Okay, so they are at a masked ball, and Faye just love a masked ball. We know Selena in Throne of Glass had been to several, the one which she was poisoned at, and then the one she met Dorian and Kay all at, but didn't know then. The whole Spring Court and ACOTAR, like, were such big fans, they wore them for 49 years.
They really loved them. I love that you were trying to get through your dad joke without laughing. You just made a Thotham, like, type joke. It was a Faye dad joke.
I think he would make that joke because it's not very nice.
The lights dimmed, and Ephraim and Celestina thanked everyone that came to celebrate their mating. And on a large screen, they welcomed their guests of honor. On the screen were 7 thrones, 6 filled with hysteria.
Once again, I want to talk about hypaxia here. First, it says, heads turned to remark on her beauty, visible even with the white-winged mask she donned. And I just want to say how Crocan witch of her that is. I mentioned in chapter 52 how the Crocans were known for their beauty and being a warrior. So to comment on her beauty like that just seems like a little nod to them.
She got that Kraken blood.
So Hypaxia was also described as resplendent in a royal blue gown, her cloudberry crown gleaming amid her dark, upswept hair. And I really want to tie in cloudberries to the witches in Throne of Glass yet again. I've talked about cloudberries before. The berries themselves are orange and red, but they also have flowers. All plants flower with the exceptions of ferns and moss. I looked up what the flowers for cloudberries look like, and they are tiny white flowers. Tiny white flowers have been talked about by witches before. After the 13 sacrificed themselves in Kingdom of Ash, several leaders in the battle laid down small white flowers that came out of nowhere in the dead of winter to honor them. The book said, had she looked, she would have seen the small white flowers they bore, would have wondered how and where they had gotten them in the dead heart of winter. And then there is specifically this line. And when they were alone on the silent battlefield, Manon's great-grandmother put a hand on her shoulder and said quietly, her voice somehow distant, be the bridge, be the light. When the iron melts, when flowers spring from fields of blood, let the land be witness and return home. And hypaxia is proof that the bridge stayed between the Iron Teeth Crocans and the healers who were on the field that day too. Several healers helped heal Abraxos. The land saw all that and granted them the flowers from the fields of blood.
I'm really proud of you for this one, and also annoyed with you because the day before, I'm like searching, trying to find anything about fucking cloudberries. I don't even like flowers or plants anyways because I kill them all. And I'm looking, can't find a damn thing. And then it's the next day. Kylie's like, look what I just found. I'm like, you fucker. But that's why we tag team.
If it's plants, it's going to be me. It's gonna be me. Chapter 59. Bryce was pretty pleased with herself for outsmarting her hot dad with her public declaration that her and Hunt hump. The Thotham King will punish her later, but it's okay. I'll take one for the team and let him punish me instead. Shortly after the Asteri, specifically Rigulus and his boyish face, started fucking yapping their bullshit from the screen to congratulate their archangels for fucking. Octartus, the Southern Star, who was with the right of Rigulus, chimed in to congratulate Bryce and Hunt on their humping too.
Such a happy humping, those guys.
The next time someone gets married, happy humping.
Happy humping. Octartus, the Southern Star, probably came from Octantis, served as a southern beacon, especially for sailors braving vast oceans under unfamiliar skies, just as the Northern Star helped travelers in the Northern Hemisphere find their way. Octantis was a key landmark for the venturing south. The Octantis constellation symbolizes guidance, protection, and the natural order of the cosmos across various ancient cultures, serving as a key star for navigation and spiritual meaning. I'm always interested in the way that Sarah picks her names, and while we try and put together the pieces of the story, I thought I would share this little tidbit. And just so you guys know, if you're watching on video and Kylie's doing everything she can not to lose her shit, that's because she likes to, as you know, fuck with me and screw with words. And so I almost said a bad word, but I did not. She's trying to get me canceled.
In the next episode, we get to dive into all their names finally. And I just think it's so interesting that Rigulus is like the HBIC of them. And it's always mentioned that he's boyish and young. The Thotham King was forced to present Princess Bryce and her mate and consort, Prince Athalar, to the Asteri. They hailed the Asteri, and the bright hand of the Asteri told them to partake in revelry and to celebrate Death's Day in peace. After that, Hot Dad called Bryce a bitch. They're shocked their plans worked. and then they became dancing queens. Bryce correcting her hot dad with, "It's you little bitch, your highness. How can you not love her?"
She's the best. Bryce is awesome.
Rune tried to dance with Hypaxia, but she was distracted. Turns out she was looking for her sister to meet her, aka the Hind. Rune was Hypaxia's emotional support fae hottie for this meeting. It was kind of awkward, really, when Hypaxia was ready to use the sister term. The Hind was just a bitch to her, though. Pollux gave them a minute, so Rune did too. He went out to the fountain, expecting to see Hottie Day. Instead, he saw the harpy.
I will say that I feel like Hypaxia was going a little strong, that sister term. Like, girl, chill a little, you know?
She came in hot. Like, if
Yeah.
she came in and was like, "Let's be sisters immediately," like, after first meeting, like, whoa. Too
No,
much.
too much. Chapter 60. Rune snuck out to the garden to meet Day, but nobody was there but the heartbeat. And luckily, when he said Day to her, she didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. As he was leaving, he saw the Hind watching him, so he left that party real quick. Bryce and Hunt decide they need to have a quickie, as one does. They barged into a locked door and they found the Archangel Celestina with her tit out. And no, not Ephraim. No, Ephraim was not there. Hypaxia was. Bryce tried diffusing the situation by saying she wouldn't say a darn word. Celestina made it clear that F would kill her if he found out, and so would the Stary. And if they told a soul, so would the Stary if they told a soul. A threat was definitely there. Bryce tried letting them know that she wouldn't fuck them over and that they're allies. And if they want to be together, they would go against the Stary together. Lots of togethers. They promised not to say anything. Celestine, fuck off. They promise not to say anything. Celestina tells Hunt that being a slave and a prince are pretty close to the same thing, and he tells her that Bryce is worth it. Celestina says love is a trap. I pictured the guy from Star Wars. It's a trap! Hunt was shocked and asked if she wants to be free of it, and she tells him every single day. That was
Try to release for sure.
Mhm. So this was the point where I was like, yeah, I don't like Celestina the first time reading. I'm like, she's a bitch. I could just tell. We got weird vibes.
Yeah, she seems like she's cool, but she's shifty.
It's like a Micah cool, where he seems cool at first, but he's really not cool.
Cool on paper, not
Yeah.
cool on person.
Yeah.
In person. So Hypaxia glanced to the governor, whose eyes had turned white, flaring with power. And do you think that Celestina's alcohol response and need to protect, do you think that they're potentially, not paternally,
They're
potentially
paternity bait.
mates? Or is she just crazy?
It could go either way. It really could go either way.
Truly. And what do you think it's like to see, your boss's tit out? Just one.
I used to work at a place called Desert Sun, and I did see my technical boss's tits.
There was some foreshadowing happening in this chapter. Hunt was thinking princess wasn't the right word for the expression that came across Bryce's face. The shift of her posture, another word formed on his tongue, but Hunt didn't let it take root, didn't let himself think of all the deadly implications that the other word would entail. And then later in the chapter, he's like, a more than princess indeed. I love it.
Queen vibes.
Chapter 61. It's seance time for Hypaxia and the alpha of the Weiner pack in the olive grove. Hypaxia lit some candles, not to set the mood, but for the seance. She pulled out a long dagger and drew lines between the candles to create a 6-point star. Hypaxia explains it's a symbol of balance. 2 intersecting triangles, male and female, dark and light, above and below, and the power that lies in the place where they meet. And then began chanting.
Of course, she used 7 candles, but more on that 6-pointed star. The hexagram, a 6-pointed star, is a symbol that appears across multiple cultures, religions, and mystical traditions. Its geometric form might seem simple, but its meanings run deep, representing concepts of unity, balance, and cosmic harmony. It's most famously known as the Star of David, but we do see a six-pointed star in the Maasverse. Feyre's wedding ring is described and has a ring of twist strands of gold and silver flecked with pearl and set with a stone of the deepest solid blue, sapphire, but different. The pale lines of a six-pointed star radiate across the round, opaque surface. Oh, wait, how do I say that? Opaque? Opaque.
Yes.
Okay. Opaque surface of the blue stone. We know that that ring used to belong to Reese's mother. So let's just think about that for a minute.
Mm-hmm. And there's that lapis lazuli.
Maybe.
Over in Rune's mind, he's having a meeting with Day. He apologized for endangering her since the Harpy and Hind trailed him. To his surprise, Day saw him and now knows who he is. But his Fae Prince status does not give her the ick. Yick.
Yuck. You're that yuck.
She tells him that his hot dad is a disgrace of a king. Day gets a little jelly belly of his sick dance moves with Hypaxia, and then he kisses her on the mental bridge. She says, "I'm sorry," and pieces out. If I were Rune, I would be thinking she thought I was an uggo or something. Like she saw him and then rejected that kiss. That's brutal.
But Rune knows that he's a beautiful, silly guy.
That is how I describe very attractive men. You're right.
He's just a beautiful, silly guy, you know?
Top tier.
Not wrong.
Hunt and Bryce were a little drunk. Hunt gives her a little foot massage on her arch, which is something that I lack with flat feet. He then tells her he likes being seen with her. It's very sweet, really. He was never shown off by Shahar, which is pretty tasteless of her not showing off haughty Hunt. So some nipple flicking and fucking later, they then came so hard that they teleported into the sky. And that's just so Feyre and Rhys of them. Like, why does everyone get to sky fuck?
Do you think she calls him Sky Daddy while she's up there?
Gross.
You would call the Thottum Sky Daddy up there. He doesn't have wings, though.
Yeah, that wouldn't really work.
You guys would just fall.
It was worth the risk.
So, speaking of feet, if Bryce had a feet finder account, what would her name be?
Fancy Fae Feet 69, since Lil Hotos was taken.
You're probably right.
We are just cruising along.
Chapter 62. Hypaxia was chanting away, causing it to be suddenly extremely cold, peculiar. She says she can feel a presence and to be ready to say what he needs to say because she won't be able to hold that star very long. Well, instead of Connor, a creature tall, thin, robed, the Underking showed up. She tried shoo-shooing him back to the misty owl he rules, but he was like, LOL, young fools, you playing above your pay grade, baby boo.
This looks like something I would write.
Baby boo's not even in there. It just came out of my mouth. The Underking let Ethan know his brother is well cared for now. He wanted to play a little game with Hypaxia because Flame and Shadow was interested in her abilities.
The way you originally said the Underking showed up, it was like a WWE announcement. The Underking!
Who do you think would win in a fight? The Underking or the Bone Carver? WWE.
Well, SmackDown, probably the Underking.
I think he has more fight in him.
I do too.
I feel like the Bone Carver has a little bit more of a soft soul, even though he's still got that evil in him a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I think the Underking is Valg. So I think he's got that like strength in him.
Mm-hmm.
The dog in him.
I can't stop saying that. It's really
I can't either. If
Well,
there's
I'm talking-
something in them, it's dog.
It's dog. If I'm talking about the Empyrean, it's Venin, got that dog in him. Talking about Valg, got that dog in him. Like, I can't stop.
It's so bad.
With that dog in him.
So it says the Underking lifted a bony hand and an eerie greenish light wreathed his fingers. Ethan could have sworn ancient strange symbols swirled in that light. And I cannot be convinced otherwise that those strange symbols are not word marks. They have to be.
100%. No question.
But I'm actually curious about the use of that green light there in the Maasverse. So let's start with Throne of Glass. Selena used the book The Walking Dead to find the spell to contact the realms where the dead dwelled. The symbols on her hand had began to glow green, creating an archway. Nehemia didn't answer her, but, reminder, spoiler, Nehemia was dead. The word marks had the And then there was the word marks that had the green glow when Cain was summoning demons. Several uses of word marks had the greenish glow. The castle, Selena described it as there was something greenish about it, and it seemed to pulse, as well as glowing with a pale greenish light. And then this one really interested me. The fire in the throne room had something greenish about the flame, something that made her spine straighten. And then there was another time when Selena approached the throne as the victor, a greenish fire burned in the mouth-like fireplace. Again, fire. When Dorian discovered the Wordstone collars in Marath, what he looked at in the rough-hewn chamber, illuminated by a small lantern dangling from the arched ceiling, a lick of greenish flame danced within, not a flame of this world. Unclear if the green light and the green flame are related, but Wordstone was used for Valg. Why wouldn't word marks be used for Valg as well? This isn't light or fire, but this does tie in. Green veins ran through the Wordstone, the rings, and the towers, again making me think green is associated with Valg in this manner. And then we do have green light mentioned in ACOTAR. When Feyre got spirit semen on her face during Starfall, pale green light, like drops of paint, glowed and flexed on my hand. A reminder that Starfall is a day that these spirits pick to migrate yearly. No one knows who they are or why they pick that day to appear. And then Reese pointed out, like fading magic, there is less and less of the spirits every year, which is interesting. And then in Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, Bryce opened a book on Bitch Boy Micah and a greenish light blasted from it. And in this story, we have this light now. There was also the mystics that were submerged in the greenish, cloudy water. I only mention this because the astronomer's shifty.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But don't worry, I have more on green light in the next book. So this is only part 1.
A lot to think about there. I have lots of thoughts about that. Not right now on the podcast, but I'm excited for green light talk. Bryce thought she was dreaming, but apparently not so much. She was in a vast, dusty plain before an azure, cloudless sky. Distant, dry mountains studded the horizon, but she was surrounded by rock and emptiness. Her thoughts were interrupted by Apollyon, who decided to appear as a blonde. He told her they're in Parthos, or what remains of it, and they're in a dream world, or what she would consider it to be. He tells her that Adis would be mad he's chatting with her, and he's off busy raising Hel's armies. Bryce tells him, cool, but how about you stay in your planet? Apollyon is impressed that she doesn't trust him, which was what Thea, the Starborn Queen's downfall was. Oh, and P.S. Adis' great love also was Thea, which he gives us the tea. That's why he killed Peleus and devoured Sirius for his lovesick brother. And despite what Bryce thinks, Thea and the princes were not enemies. They summoned them to help with the Stary. Oh, and he didn't send Reapers after her. He told her that he was spilling the tea because she's racing towards her doom, but he could actually chat with her because the veil is thinnest today. He also explains Orion was bred to be receptive to his kind, which is why he's so good at hunting them. And then he touches her with an ice-cold hand and tells her Hel is ready to finish the war and use the horn and open the doors to Hel. Bryce is like, hell nah. And he's like, loser, come find me in Hel when you learn the truth. So there's a lot to unpack here. I found Apollyon's description interesting. Apollyon chose to appear in a golden-haired, golden-skinned body. His black eyes were unending darkness. Guess who else chose to show up that way? Lanthus. And according to Silver Flames, chapter 54, he takes this form. A naked, golden-haired male stood before her. He was of average height, his golden skin sculpted with muscle, his sharp-boned face simmered with hate. Not a repulsive, awful creature, but one of beauty. His black eyes narrowed on the blade. So that's interesting that they look very similar. Now let's talk about the Prince of Hel showing up in dreams. This is now the second time it has happened with Apollyon, earlier in the book with Hunt, but I believe it happened in ACOTAR as well. In A Court of Mist and Fury, Feyre is awoken by Rhys's dreams. She rushes in there to wake him up, and her description is interesting. Darkness swept past me on a phantom wind, full of stars and flapping wings. Keep flapping wings in your head. And pain, so much pain and despair. She also says he's icy cold, which we know when the CC kids are visited by the Princes of Hel, they're also icy and cold. He also chooses not to tell Feyre about what his nightmare entailed, which at the time they're not together, so it makes sense. But add in the wings. So another time wings are heard are in Tog. Caltaine, Nehemia says rebels heard them, as well as the Farian Gap. And in CC, Apollyon has leathery wings. All right, I do just want to make the point about Rhys. He's not normally cold, but in A Court of Mist and Fury, when he takes Feyre to the Court of Nightmares, he stops dampening his power. He lets it all out. She mentions 2 different times that he's cold. So you could probably start coming to a conclusion on where some of Rhys's superpowers come from. And you guys, the more I think about the Princes of Hel, the more I believe they're 100% Valg princes. In Greek mythology, Orcus was a god of the underworld. One key feature of his is he had wings. They were often depicted as bat-like, which Apollyon also was described as having wings. During Hunt's dream, it is said wings rustled nearby, not the soft feathers of his wings, but something leathery or dry. Maybe Apollyon was the one who visited Rhys Boy's dreams too.
A reminder that Orcus and Orcus and Mantix are still out there, not the Guardian of the Galaxy.
No, she's hopefully out there too.
We really started to build this case in chapter 38 and 39 for the Princes of Hel being Valg. And I love this. And I just can't wait to build more on the next book because we have so much to talk about.
There's a lot. Hypaxia told Ethan not to move because the Underking turned the clearing into a labyrinth of wards, and as they were finding their way out, they heard growling, which were the hunting hounds of the House of Flame and Shadow. So Hypaxia, her magic was described as white hot with magic. Another babe in the Maasverse with white hot magic. Mala, Aelid, Irene all have white hot magic.
Oh, Hypaxia and Irene, witches have similar magic. Chapter 63. Bryce is keeping the fact that Hunt was bred not made from a loving relationship to herself, but still told him, Rune, Tharian, and Declan about Apollyon. Cormac is there too, but he's a little broody from the whole public humiliation of her ending their engagement, but he was still helping her teleport. He was still helping Bryce teleport. She got a little fish kiss from Tharian when she appeared in front of him after her magic was slowing. Hunt didn't get mad, so there is still time for a threesome. Deck gets to explaining her magic and why she slows down, calling her a magical leech. Rune, on the other hand, calls her a liability and poses the question of what happens if she is struck on the horn. Cormac is actually kind of pissed, but willing to move on from it if Bryce doesn't surprise him anymore. But he realizes already that there is something else that she's hiding. So he teleported behind her and held a knife to her throat. She filled him in on a meal, but lies a little and says the Vipe Queen is saintly and put him somewhere safe. Cormac gets his shit together and apologizes. Cue workout montage here. Ethan and Hypatia made it through the wards and interrupted the workout session. They told everyone about the attempt to summon Connor, but instead had the Underking grace their presence. Ethan lets Bryce know that she has been summoned by the Underking and has 1 hour or else he will make second light of Connor and the Pack of Devils immediately. It's a big threat to make to a princess.
Sure is. '64. Therian was walking around the meat market, and no, I'm not talking about the Fae frat boy house. I'm talking about the VQ's lair. While pretending to be searching for a meal, he heard the dragon was fighting, which he thought could be a good replacement for a meal. He gave a little ring-a-ding-ding to Flynn to get his booty over there. They had a chat with Ari the drag. The Vipe was like, yo, I didn't steal her. We came to agreement and made a bargain. Flynn was butthurt that she didn't pick. Mm, Flynn was butthurt she picked the VQ over them, but she wanted some excitement in her life. Therian asked her to speak to the Vipe, who was coolly smoking a cig, and they walked into a different room, and they found the harpy with a mountain of drugs in front of her, and she was all fired up, but he promised not to be a narc.
The story said it looked like the entry to a vault, solid iron that didn't reflect the dim first lights. Why does she have a door like this? Like, what are you keeping out, Vibe Queen? And I just feel like there's so much more to her that we don't know and don't get in the next book either.
No, I think it might be a book 4. Maybe.
Therian was thinking if he pulled anything, she had as much authority as the Asteri to end him. And honestly, she gives me Maeve vibes, like with her Fae guards, like, they're all hot. Not
Uh-huh.
unlike Maeve, who picks strong Fae warriors to surround herself with as well. Parallels.
Yes. Therian asked the VQ if she knew about rebels or anything about Pipasbestos, and she's like, duh, but T ain't free. She says she wants the drag to keep working and needs his friends to spin their bullshit so she can. The Vipe told him to call his friends if he wants to know what Pippa is up to. They called everyone, and no one answered.
Do you feel like Therian got the Joey treatment? Like, does he get dumber and dumber in this series? Like, my guy, please tell the River Queen, just like tell her the fucking truth. His scheming's a terrible decision. Like, how is he the captain of intelligence?
You want to know what? It's all about who you hang out with and who you surround yourself with, and he's hanging out with fucking Ethan. Of course he's becoming a dum-dum.
That's such a valid point. He needs to spend more time with Bryce.
I agree. Bryce, Hunt, Hypaxia, and Rune were told to go to Erd's temple in Moonwood per the Underking's orders. When they got there, the UK was on Erd's throne, and he told them that the Reapers she accused him of sending her way were not from him or Apollyon. They were actually from the Eternal City. They're like, what the fuck? You telling us this, bruh? It can't be because you are that mad they're stepping on your toes. I hate myself. Bryce asked if Jessica Bryce asked if Jessica spoke to him, and he's like, that's not the name I know her by. He goes on, tells Hypaxia she did well, and Flame and Shadow will welcome her. They're like, okay, yeah, for real, why did you tell us to come here? And they turned around, and who was there? Ophion. I hate Ophion, the name of it, because I told you, it reminds me each time I say it of the fucking Hangover when he's like, Rooflin, Rooflin, why are you saying that word? Rooflin. So every time I say Ophion, I say it like a fucking dork because of that. He made a deal with Bitcha Asbestos because he wants to keep eating that second life.
I really appreciate the effort you put into that.
Thank you. Thank you. I tried really hard. So we get some nuggets of tea. Don't know why I said it like that, but we got nuggets of tea because tea that has nuggets in it is probably not good. But the Underking says, I thought the Fae bowed to Luna, but perhaps you remember the old beliefs from a time when Erd was not a goddess, but a force, winding between worlds, when she was a vat of life, a mother to all, a secret language of the universe. The Fae worshipped her. Okay, let's break this down. Now, we believe Luna is the same gal as Deanna from Throne of Glass, so that makes sense in this reference. Now he talks about Erd being not a goddess, but a force who winded between worlds. A mother, aka talking about Perithian, and a secret language of the universe, which we know word marks is the universal language. So now let's go back to what Apollyon told us earlier in the book and his origins. His father was the void, the one who existed before, but all caps. Chaos was his bride and his dam, which dam means mother, which I had to look up. So like we said in an earlier episode, it seems like it confirmed that Erd, aka word in Tog, is the same as the mother in ACOTAR. But true identity, aka government name, is chaos to the universe. Then we have the Underking's figure. He faded away, an illusion, a projection. I can think of another time when this happened, and no, I'm not talking about when Luke Skywalker did it. Dick it? Okay, moving on. No, we know the King of Hybern also liked to dabble with being an illusionist. He did it during the attack of the Summer Court and got Reese on a boat, but he wasn't actually there, just being a little sneaky sneak. It makes you wonder if these two are the same person or just practice the same magic.
Honestly, I think that the King of Hybern and the Under King are connected. Like, we don't have the government name of either.
They're suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. And so this comment about not knowing Jessica by that name, truly can't wait to talk about it until the next book.
Few more episodes.
2 more episodes. So after he skedaddled, Hunt charged up Bryce and then she vanished. The rest of the group tried making some calls and came up with a plan. Bryce came back, took Hypaxia with her, came back, puked, and then rallied and got Roan. Hunt waited for Bryce, but Pippa opened the door and Pollux was there and hit Pips. Bryce came back and explained how she used the gates to broadcast a report that Ophian sacked Erd's temple. Bryce didn't have much energy left, and Mordok and Pollux were looking for them. Luckily, Bax was there, telling them to come behind the throne, which had a secret doorway. Bax came to save the day again. They walked in the catacombs where a bunch of skulls and bones were, but Bryce pulled a gun on Baxian and was like, "Tell me the truth right now. Are you cool or like uncool?" He answered by showing a tattoo that says, "Through love, all is possible," which Bryce obviously was like, why do you have Danica's handwriting not saying tattooed? And he's like, she was my mate, right?
The book accent.
I know. And I'm sorry, but Danica sucks.
I will have to say that I agreed. And this is controversial, but Danica. Danica's no better than Erewhon in Throne of Glass.
Tell us why you think that.
You know, I called Blakely literally from the shower because I'm listening to Throne of Glass, and Erewhon he uses people, okay? Danica used Bryce as a gate. Erewhon used Caltaine as a gate. Like, they're one and the same. Show me them next to each other. They've never been in the same room.
You think Erewhon came back and is like, you want to know what? I want to be blonde with different colored hair. So she'd really fit in the Bookstagram community, probably.
He was like, I tested out being a king, so let me test out being an alpha.
Makes sense. But Danica sucks. We'll talk about it more later.
It's risky, but, friends don't hold mates back. You share that shit.
Yeah, like if you had a mate and didn't tell me, I mean, besides me being your mate, but not in a weird way. Not weird.
Well, now it's weird.
Thanks for juggling through our journey with us today. We have new episodes every Tuesday. Join us next week as we get into chapters 65 through 72 for Crescent City, our second to last episode of House of Sky and Breath.
Make sure you follow us on social media for all our latest updates, theories, and more new book goofing. Don't forget to hit subscribe and give us a review wherever you listen. All links are in our info, you giggling gal pals. We'll see you next week.